Get ready. This is part 2 of being a masculine man. A manly man. Well, I like that last one. That was good. Can you hear me? That come through okay, Mindy? Good. I won't do that again in part 2. That was pretty funny, though. Part 1. Go check it out. You should have watched part 1 before coming here. This is part 2 of how to be a masculine man. A wholesome, well put together, well directed, confident, masculine man. Manly man. Coming to you from one of the more imperfect examples of manliness ever. Good example there. Myself. Nutnfancy. Yeah. I'm not the manliest man around. I ain't. But I try to live up to an ideal. And that's all I'm talking about in this 2-parter. I'm talking about an ideal of manliness. An ideal of what it means to be a man. And separating ourselves from all the disinformation, the hysteria, the hatred against men, the propaganda against men, and all the progressive bullshit that we see day after day after day on our computer screens, on our television screens, on our movie screens. I'm fighting against that. And I'm fighting for you. You know I am. You feel it, don't you? You feel that I'm in your corner. You feel that I am your true ally. You feel that I am right there with you in the ring. In the ring of life. You and Nutnfancy. Hopefully your parents too. But who knows? You may have had bad parents. You may have had a dad that was not a great model of masculinity. Maybe he wasn't wholesome. Maybe he drank a lot. Maybe he beat his family. Did you know I come from a family like that? No, not Grandpa Nutnfancy. He didn't do that. His dad did. And he broke the chain. He's like, you know what? This ain't going in my family. This alcoholism, this physical abuse, this verbal abuse, the screaming, the shouting, the mood swings. And so Grandpa Nutnfancy, my dad, stopped it. He's like, you know what? I ain't doing that. And he started afresh. Like all of us, he was imperfect, but he did a pretty darn good job as a mostly single father raising us kids. Grandpa Nutnfancy, Colonel Grandpa Nutnfancy, 2 tours in Vietnam, F-100 pilot, Grandpa Nutnfancy, super stud of the world in my mind. Really, I'm just trying to set a standard of what it means to be a wholesome man in this 2-parter. And personally, I'm trying to please Grandpa Nutnfancy, my dad. I want him to look down on me and go, you know what? Not bad. You got it done. I think that's what we all would like if we have good fathers, that we would get their nod of approval. More importantly, their respect. Maybe you have a broken home. Maybe you, like my dad had to do, have to recreate your family from scratch. You had bad examples. You don't know your dad. You were adopted. You come from a history of physical or verbal abuse. We understand that. This audience understands that. There's plenty of it in the TNP audience for sure, of people who have those type of situations as part of their personal histories, and it's sad. But we're going to move past that, and we're going to look to tomorrow. We're going to be better as men. We're not going to look at perhaps bad examples we had that cloud our image of what it means to be a man. That's what this 2-parter's about. That's what I'm talking about, of just a few attributes of a true man as I see it. And that's all it is. It's my life philosophy, not necessarily my dad's. I mean, he would approve of, I think, all of this, but he didn't give me a list. He's like, hey, son, when 2022 rolls around, talk to people about this. That's not what happened. Feature length, by the way. We're not in a hurry. What we are in is in a focused deliberation to help dudes out there that need help. And I say we, it's not just me. It's the awesome commenters below these videos. And man, were there some great comments in part 1. Great comments. Of TNPrs who said, hey, I'm so thankful for this part 1. I thought it was just me. I thought in order to make it in this progressive bullshit society we live in, that I had to be a beta male. You woke me up and made me realize that it wasn't just me. There are a lot of people that understand this is wrong, what they're saying to boys who are growing up into be young men, and to men actually. And it's good to hear a voice that corrects it. And to that I say a humble, you're welcome. I'm just doing the best I can. An imperfect messenger. I do feel inspired of God to do this stuff, by the way. I'll just say that. A lot of my philosophy videos come from God. He'll put in my heart what I should say, how I should say it, how I deliver it. Again, I'm imperfect. I make a lot of mistakes. But I think if you listen carefully, you'll understand that it's truthful. That what I'm saying is truthful. And I think it will fill your soul with courage as a man. As a manly man. So much ground to cover. So many things to get through. I don't know if I'll get through it all. I'll try. Hey, did you know this? That men's testosterone levels are like really, really low? I mean, it's bad. 20% lower historically. And this has been proven with research. Did you know that? Interesting. A report in 2019 showed there's not one country in the world where men outlive women. The average lifespan is about 5 years longer for women than men in the U.S. and about 7 years longer worldwide. It goes on to talk about some other stuff. According to research, I'm going to swing back to that last point though. According to research, men's testosterone levels have dropped 20% in the last 20 years, with more and more younger men suffering the effects of low testosterone. You've heard the ads, like low T levels. There's like radio ads all the time. Hey man, take testosterone. Did they have those in the 50s? 60s? Why are we low in testosterone? That's interesting. Very, very interesting. This report goes on to say this is not a new trend. 70-year-old men in 87 had an average testosterone level that was almost 100 points higher than 55-year-old men in 2002. Meaning that the average 22-year-old man today has an average testosterone level roughly equal to a 67-year-old man in 2000. Therefore, it's likely that your testosterone levels are half of those of your father and undoubtedly significantly less than your grandfather. Why is this important? Well, I'm not going to, again, laser beam focus on testosterone levels, but it is an indication of what's going on with men. It is an indication that men are attacked. And you may say, well, that's physiological testosterone. Is it? Another report says, we live in a stressed out world. Deadlines coming, houses looming, phones buzzing, coffee brewing. He goes on to list like modern day problems. I want to add some here. Men being accused for all the world's problems. Men being called misogynists, racists. White males especially. White males being hated worldwide, being made fun of in commercials, television shows, movies, in the workplace. They're degraded, they're made fun of, and actually mean things said to them are totally approved and actually sanctioned in the workplace. I wonder if that has anything to do with testosterone levels. I wonder if your young boys, your young teenagers are getting these messages rammed down their throat daily. And I wonder if it's affecting their testosterone levels. Because you said, and maybe someone out there goes, well, it's physiological. I would say to that, I don't think you understand the human body that well. Because physiological really ties into the mental, to the psychological. And even here they're saying one of the reasons is due to stress. And do you think the attacks in our modern world against manhood, against a strong man, you don't think that would affect testosterone levels? It does. It has. Because again, this problem isn't new. It's matured. This isn't a new thing within the last couple of years. It's been going on for decades. Oh, here it is. The physical and physiological stress has huge impacts on our testosterone levels and us. But there is another often looked factor relating to stress and cortisol levels. Stress in the body creates a rise in cortisol, right? While cortisol in the body is a good thing to deal with immediate stress, chronically high cortisol levels are not good. And they have a discussion about how it can actually reduce your testosterone. Then he talks about endocrine disruption, nutrition, and other things that would cause low T levels in men. Why are they attacking men? Before I get into some attributes, why? Go back to part 1. Lots of reasons, but I will say at its heart is to destroy the American family. The traditional, proven American family. That's why. And it comes from Satan. Yeah, I said it. I'm just being truthful. It comes from Satan. I mean, if he can destroy the family, the unit of the family, either through destroying the mother, the father, and I'm talking a traditional family of which I support 100%, take one of those pillars out, that family, it can still survive, but it's a lot tougher. If he can take them both out, well, look around society. Look at all the civil unrest we've been having, all the violence, all the meanness. I wonder if that would happen if we had loving, moral families to raise all these children in. The demonstrators in the street, I bet you if you were to take them aside and have an honest discussion with them and calm them down and ask them about their personal family situation, you would probably find they come from a broken family or from a family where there was limited love, or maybe they're just insane. That does happen. Some of these protesters come from really good families. They've just been indoctrinated with the propaganda and they've gone off on the deep end. The reason they're attacking manhood is to at its core, attack the family. The dad is, I don't really want to say the most important part of the family because the mom is very, very important. I just think they're equally important. But without a strong moral dad, a la the movie Christmas Story, like him, the old man in Christmas Story. Go watch that movie. I'm sure you've seen it. Awesome example of masculinity, to be sure. Maybe a little bit gruff, maybe some temper problems there, but we all have our faults, right? We all have our faults. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. No one watching this video is perfect. He wasn't perfect. But as a loving father who loved his wife, loved his children, provided good discipline to the children, a standard of behavior, yeah, that's a good example. But today's progressive culture will say, whoa, you're going back to that show. When did it come out? Like 70s sometime. And that's old. We're going in different ways. All our ways, everything we did in the past in the 50s, Leave It to Beaver, all that stuff, that's garbage. Misogynistic lies. That's part of that propaganda your boys, your teenagers are listening to. And they get it every day in school. By the way, you should probably be homeschooling now. I'm just saying. I'm serious. My kids, I wouldn't put them in public school now. Hell no. Not with these messages being sent. I'm just taking a fraction of the negativity being rammed down these kids' throats every day. Negative, especially as little boys, men hearing this. They're attacking. They want to make men self-doubt and turn them into cucks. Cucks. Did I say that word right? I think so. I watched a commercial the other day, and like all commercials, it usually pisses me off with its progressive undertones, with its progressive casting. I just like, oh my gosh, can we have a normal commercial for a change? No, we can't. So in this commercial, forget who it's advertising for, shows you what a bad commercial it is. Shows a beta male, he's at a Christmas thing, and of course the wife is all knowing. She is so smart. And this guy's like, well, I don't really know what's going on. Holding the gifts, apologize for doing the wrong thing yet again. That's what all these commercials are. The man has to apologize because he's such a moron. Doesn't know how to drive, doesn't know how to cook, doesn't know how to buy the right things. And the woman corrects. Just go in the corner, put your nose in the corner, says society to the average man. And I'll tell you when you can come out of that corner, you pig. You chauvinistic pig. That is the message being sent to you, to me, to all the males in society of whatever color you want to choose. We are all in this together. It is an attack on manhood, and I am fed up. I'm sick of it. Calm down, Nutnfancy. Okay. Oxygen. Oxygen. I know you love my rants, but I know you feel it too. I'm not saying anything you don't know. You feel it too. I'm sure, like me, you probably have turned the television off and that you're very selective on what you watch. I am. I don't watch the news at all. I have very selective news feeds, very selective. Salty Cracker from YouTube, because he'll go through all the BS. Gateway Pundit, and a few others, like I said. Yeah, sorry. And this is a political issue. I mean, you would think, oh, you're just talking about manhood. No, the attack on manhood is politically motivated. Again, it's going to get worse and worse. It ain't getting better, says me. Breathe. Just breathe, Nuttin. So much better. Let's continue, shall we? We're having a good time here. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be funny as well. Also informative. Also hard-hitting. That's what I'm known for. Thanks for tuning in to part 2. And thanks for being a donor, by the way. Donors are the reason I'm still here. Make no mistake about it. Be a donor in the Patreon service. Long-term donor. 2 years or more. Appreciate you. And I'll do, a video every 3 to 4 days in the Patreon environment. I stay busy. I probably ought to slow that down a bit. I think I'm overwhelming, guys. I really do. I can create a lot of content. Gun reviews, knife reviews, watch reviews. Chotavelli today, by the way. Chotavelli. All that stuff you've seen. A lot more of that coming. And occasionally, an A10 truth dart like this one. Hey, by the way, remember in part 1, we talked about a lot of stuff. We covered a lot of ground, kind of like this. The ability to fight as a man is a manly attribute. It's good. Remember that in part 1? And by the way, in these BS movies, you'll see women supposedly beating up men all the time. Oh my gosh. I may make a whole video about that. It just really infuriates me. And it's dangerous in society. It's very dangerous to send those messages. Don't do it. But they'll keep doing it. Having a competitive spirit, the ability to deal with pain, hardship, your ability to remain strong in your body. You can do hard work. You're smart. You're ingenious. You're a risk taker. You're responsible. Those were some of my rants, my key points in part 1 of being a manly man. On we go with a couple more. Remember, this is an ideal. These attributes would be ideal if we all possess them to our own personal highest ability. You'll fall short. I'll fall short. And you're going to say, man, I just really don't possess any of those things that Nutnfancy talked about. Here's my message to you, bro. Do better. There's tomorrow, isn't there? You're not dead. What prevents you from changing? What prevents you from integrating these into your life and just going on and forgetting your past mistakes? Yeah, you screwed up. So what? Everybody screws up. Everybody misallocates. Everybody misprioritizes. Everybody mismanages time. Do better. Repent and do better. That is a key message of the Nutnfancy Project to the entire world. Doesn't matter what your family background is. Doesn't matter how jacked up your family is or was. You may have to start over, cauterize that damage, and make your own family. Maybe you have a great family. In that case, take those lessons that were given to you by your great mother, your great father, integrate them into your family, and just keep running the ball in the same direction. If you come from a great family, and I kind of feel like I did, I mean, there's some dysfunction for sure. My mom and dad got divorced when I was really little, but each one has some great attributes. I just try to take the best from each of them and run the ball in the right direction and live my own life too. I wasn't trying to live for dad. I wasn't trying to live for mom. I'm living my own damn life, and I hope you do the same thing. Dream big. Go for your dreams. Man, this is deep. Number 1, of part 2, is rational. A manly man should be rational. He should think things through. You're not just chasing some shiny object over there on the horizon and not planning. That's what fools do. You need to sit down and have a plan. Sometimes women don't. Sometimes women blow it, and they are more, in my opinion, emotionally charged, emotionally driven. Sometimes they don't look at the facts the way you and I should or do. As a manly man, you should be rational and you should plan your life. Again, dream big. Don't dream small, dream big. You know how many TNPrs I've heard from that have been with me for well over a decade, and they've watched these philosophy videos, and some of them were very small when they started watching them. For some reason, like, I don't know, at age 10 or so, they started watching Nutnfancy. Maybe their dad started showing them the videos, and they started applying the stuff I talked about. Like the video, Live to Impress Yourself. I've been hearing from them. Some are tradesmen with very successful careers, electricians, pipe layers, cement workers. Some are doctors. Some are lawyers. Some are military members. Some are emergency services folks. Successful careers, happy, paying their bills, putting money in the bank. Successful because, I don't know, maybe they applied those lessons of work in Live to Impress Yourself and other videos that I've posted. And blew off all the naysayers, right? That's a key message because there's going to be a lot of naysayers. Oh, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. All the losers who want to drag you down to their level and not be rational about your life. That's what we're talking about. They want you to live for the moment, live for the day, don't plan ahead. That is a guarantee for failure in life, boys. A masculine man should be rational how he approaches his life and be honest in your own self-inventory. By that, I mean, if you've screwed something up, don't blame it on other things, external influences. Well, I'm just here because of that person. I'm here because, they didn't hire me. They didn't know how awesome I was. I'm not saying there's not injustice in this world. There is. And you're going to get screwed over a lot. The question is, what are you going to do with it when you're screwed over? Are you going to quit? You're just going to sit down on the curb, fold your arms? You're going to go back to the apartment, start playing video games 12 hours a day? And just go on ranting to whoever will listen that you're only a failure because someone didn't recognize your awesome talent and you weren't given that special position? Or are you going to say, you know what? I'm going to take a self-inventory. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? That's rational. That's honest. That's how a manly man should live. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? Make a list. Actually write it down. You should keep a journal day by day by day. Write it down. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? If you did something wrong, acknowledge it. Say, I screwed that up. And then also say this. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to do better. And that's another thing I want to talk about, seeking mastery. I'll mention it briefly here. I'm going to do better. I don't like being mediocre in life. I don't like being, a moron. That's what a manly man should say. It's like, hey, I don't like coming in 10th place. I want to come in first place. Remember that competitive spirit I talked about? A manly man should be competitive. He's not trying to do it to maybe he is, but you're not really trying to destroy other people in the race. Let's say you're in a running race. You just want to be the best competitor you can be, the best runner you can be. And if you know inside that you have that, why limit yourself? Why in the hell would you limit yourself because some woman's over there telling you can't do it? Maybe it's some friend. Maybe it's a beta male friend. And he doesn't want you to be better than him. Be rational. In a lot of ways, I do think men are more rational, generally speaking. There's huge exceptions in their approach to life. What are the costs for me to get where I'm going? That's part of being rational. How much is it going to cost me to become a doctor? What type of loans, what type of schooling, what type of time frame will I have to allocate out of my life to reach my goal? That's what a rational man does. An idiot doesn't. He'll just go running off, thinking everything's going to work his way, not really planning. Then he hits obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and he goes, whoa, I'm quitting. How many people do you know like that? I know a lot. And out come the excuses. Well, I just can't do it because this happened to me and that happened to me. Okay. Consider the risks, the benefits of where you want to go. Be rational in your approach. That is a manly attribute. And it also takes some soul searching. It takes some bravery. And it takes some inner discovery, because the buck stops with you. And I'm even talking about when you have been unjustly accused, unjustly not given that promotion, unjustly not hired, unjustly whatever. That happens all the time. It's probably going to happen to you throughout your life. It's happened to me multiple times. Get past it. Don't get bitter about it. Get past it. Drive on. Chalk it up to life experience. Drive on. Where do I go from here? I'll tell you where I go from here. This is what I want you to say. I'm going over there to that awesome place where I want to be. And I don't care how hard it is to get there. I don't care how long it takes me. I don't care how many people tell me along the way that I'm an idiot for trying. I'm going to get there. And you will. Nutnfancy, you pump me up talking. Good. I want to pump you up. You need it. Where are you going to get it? From damn television? The movies? Shit. Sorry for cussing, but you know me. I cuss a little bit. I love Jesus, but I cuss a little bit. Next one. A manly man is courageous. Part of that process I just discussed, inward discovery, admitting when you're wrong, admitting when you've done something wrong, admitting when you've been unjust. That's hard as a man, because sometimes I've had to do it. I go, you know what? What I just said there was unjust. And I want you guys to use that word, unjust. Unjust means non-Christ-like. It was unfair what you did. It was unkind what you did. It was not warranted. It was wrong. Your goal to be a manly man is to be just in life. You want to be able to stand before God and say, you know what? I made mistakes, but I was just. I stood for the things that mattered. And when I screwed up, I admitted it, I did better. That takes courage, boys, men. Not a lot of guys can do that. And courageousness comes in so many forms. I'm talking about a personal form of how you live your life. Being courageous, being able to get inside yourself, being able to admit failure, and to make goals to do better. You're not put off by failure. That's another message that I've said in many of these philosophy videos, that you will fail, you will fall short, and that's just part of the process. In a lot of ways, it makes you better. It makes you more empathetic, and it makes you more of a man. If you have everything given to you, and you didn't have to earn it, that really violates another thing I want to talk about. And in fact, it's 2 points down. It violates that. You want to do it yourself, and maybe you screwed up along the way, and that's okay. Courageousness. Part of being courageous, by the way, is being persistent. I know I say this all the time, but it bears repeating. It really does. This is Calvin Coolidge, and I'm not going to say he's a good president, bad president. I don't know. I just love this quote, and it is attributed to him. It goes something like this: nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than an unsuccessful man with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan "Press On" has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Like that football movie, Rudy. What a great example that is. Persistence. Hey, man, I'm not the most talented player out there, but I ain't going to give up. I've known so many people through life that they just would not give up, and I just admired them for it. There's a guy in pilot training when I went through an Air Force years ago. Undergraduate pilot training, Del Rio, Texas. And he wasn't the best pilot, wasn't the best student, but man, he would not give up, and he had a super positive attitude. And the instructors just ended up liking him. Not because he was some golden stick in the aircraft. He wasn't. He sucked. He did all kinds of problems, but he was super positive. He didn't try to make excuses. And because he worked so hard and he kept coming back to the stand-ups, that's where we'd stand up and do emergency procedures. You had to recite the boldface emergency procedures verbatim. And if you got them wrong, you sat the entire day. You could not fly. He just worked at him. He got through T-37s. And all of us were kind of like, whoa, dude, I thought you were going to bust. He also got through T-38s, and he got his pilot wings. Again, not because he was the most skilled pilot in our group, but he knew how to work, and he had a great attitude. Man, I'll tell you, that takes you so far, and it's courageous to do that. Especially nowadays when you're getting all this negativity from all quadrants, aren't you? It just comes from all quadrants, it's negative. It's courageous to blow that off and just go, you know what? Stop. Everybody shut up. I don't care what you think. I'm pressing ahead. That's what I want you to say. Here's another one. Manly men. Dude, I love this one. And no one's talking about it. You know what?
Manly men are attracted to beautiful women.
Didn't see that one coming, Nutnfancy. The reason I have to say this is because, again, there's just this whole push in popular culture to say that if you're a man and you're attracted to a skinny, beautiful girl who has a nice rack and a small butt, something's wrong with you. Yeah, I said it. That's the messages being sent in movies, commercials, television, online shows, YouTube channels, that, hey, man, if you're not attracted to me at 250 pounds, you're the problem. Your definition of beauty is skewed. It's warped, says the progressives. Nutnfancy says, no, it's not.
It's God-given. I'm attracted to that type of woman because I'm supposed to be attracted to that type of woman. It's called hormones, manly hormones. And yes, I have a great testosterone level. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm talking about, gals in their 20s, maybe 30s, where, to have a normal BMI is good. But we don't see that a lot in American society. I mean, we see some very, very, very big girls out there. And popular culture, media, CPF roll in and say, hey, that's the new standard of beauty. You need to warm up to that. And guys have been doing it. TNPrs have been doing it. They go, oh my gosh, I didn't really understand that. I was told I'm supposed to be attracted to this. You're attracted to what you're attracted to as a manly man. And if it is a larger gal, so be it. That's your taste. I'm not impugning that at all. Go for it. But also, if you're a guy like myself, I'm married and happily married. I never cheat around on Mrs. Nutnfancy. I'm just saying, if I was back in my 20s, I was attracted to the type of girl I talked about. Hot looking. Well, look, there's a good example right here. Sonia, Red Sonia. There you go, right here, ladies and gentlemen. There's a standard of beauty. The popular culture now says that is not beautiful. They're saying that she is privileged, that she should be, well, just like us, de-emphasized. Now you put 100 pounds on her, they're saying, yeah, that's more like it. That's what movies are telling us. Well, kind of. They're really talking out both sides of their mouth because they're telling us that we should be attracted to, well, large women. But in ads, most ads, they're still showing, well, gals like that. Attractive women. Why are they doing that? Because they want to make money. If they don't put beautiful women in their advertisements, in their TV shows, in their movies, no one's going to watch them, including women. Boom, truth dart. Truth dart, that's why. So if you're attracted, bro, to a hot woman, 110 pounds, let's say you're 24, rock on. Nothing wrong with that. Pursue it. Nothing wrong with that. It's messed up. So manly men, as I'm saying here in this video, are attracted to usually that standard. If you don't believe me, this is great. If you don't believe me, maybe you're over there and you go, oh, that's bullshit. He's like, any woman, even a 200-pound woman can be beautiful. Well, I actually will agree with that. There's a lot of beautiful large women. I'm not saying that. And I'm talking, again, women in their 20s and 30s. When we get older, it's harder. It's harder. I mean, I'm not expecting a 55-year-old woman to be 110 pounds. That's hard. It's difficult. You just do the best you can as you get. I'm talking about in our primes, 20s, early 30s. That's what I'm talking about. But if you don't believe me, you go, that's bullshit. That standard doesn't exist. Oh, really? Here, do this. Next time you're in a public location and you're sitting down reading the newspaper, maybe it's at an airport, maybe, I don't know, it's at a shopping center, and a beautiful woman walks by, and it's obvious that she's beautiful. She has a beautiful body. She has good boobs. She has a tight butt. She has beautiful hair. Don't look at her. Look at the people around her, what they're doing. Even the women. It's like the $6 million man, bionic vision. They're all checking her out. Oh, you're telling me that I'm full of crap. Oh, okay. Yeah, why do they do that? Let's just concentrate on the men looking at her. Why are they doing that? Because it's God-given. It's called hormones. It's called sexualness, and that's what makes babies. And we need babies to make the world. That's why. Holy hell, it's so obvious. That is from God. That's not perverse. To be attracted to a beautiful woman is not perverse. Now, it can get perverse, depending on what you do with that urge. You know what I'm talking about there. Not going to go into it. But that natural, beautiful woman and the man being attracted together is God-given. It's Adam and Eve, bro. You and I are here because a man was attracted to a woman. Nutnfancy, I love this video. I hope it's 3 hours long. I'm not going to talk about sex for 3 hours, but holy shit, man. This has to be said. If you're attracted to beautiful women, screw what the media says. Screw what the news says. Do not apologize and never get gaslit. Don't get gaslit in that. And if you have a girlfriend, she's like, he's putting on weight and she's 22 and she weighs 220 pounds more than you. She goes, hey man, you need to accept me as I am. It's up to you. Think it through. Think it through. All right. This is fun. I told you I would be throwing some truth darts. Next one. Men, and I kind of alluded to this, but men are self-reliant. Masculine men are self-reliant. And I did mention this. I was like, you don't want to have to go through life on someone else's shoulders. There comes a time as a man, even if you're living at home, you need to kind of set out on your own. You can do that while living at home, but you need to pay rent to your mom and dad. You need help with the bills. You need to be helping around the house. And if it's okay with them, that's fine. You're still self-reliant. And what I'm saying is you have enough money in your pocket to go out on your own if you need to. And maybe for a while you are living at home, pocketing up money. That's smart. So you can go out and buy a house, which is really expensive. I'm okay with that. But don't be a freeloader. Don't have someone pay your bills as a man. If you do, you are not a man. You are a man baby. You're a man baby. Yeah, you're not self-reliant. You have to have someone wipe your ass. Don't be a man baby. And if you are, change. Change. You should pay all your own bills. And if you don't have enough money, go get some money. Figure out how to make money. I've given you a lot of pro tips on how to work. Go into the trades. There's so much money to be made in the trades. It's ridiculous. They're all undermanned. It's like some of our TNPrs did. They listened to my trades video and they're like, yeah, I want to go be an electrician. I just heard from one the other day. He's like, yeah, I'm making like $90,000 this year. Awesome. Awesome. Good for you. Be self-reliant. Don't be a man baby. And I'll tell you what, the Zenners and the millennials, there are a lot of man babies. And it's like, okay, I get it. I'm an older generation. I never thought I'd be saying this. I always thought I was the whippersnapper, like I've said. But I look at them and I go, what the hell's wrong with your generations? Because I heard from my nephew the other day, so Paul's kid. He goes, well, I don't want to work too hard in life. And I came into his apartment and he had his freaking television screen set up and he's video gaming for 12 hours straight. That's all he's doing. And he doesn't have a full-time job. He has a part-time job. That's a man baby. Well, kind of. Not totally. He is providing for himself. He is self-sufficient. So I'll take that back. He's not really a man baby. But he's kind of living at half speed. And the reason I bring it up is because of what he said and is so demonstrative of his generations. They go, well, I don't want to work too hard. I don't want to just spend my whole life working. I'm like, well, how do you expect to have a house? A lot of them don't expect to have a house. They expect to do what they're doing right now. Playing video games 12 hours a day, feeding their face, jacking off, looking at porn, not having a long-lasting relationship with the opposite sex. That's their life. I'm good with it. A lot of the men will say that. Well, they're not men. They're man babies. A lot of the boys will say that. But Zenners are like that. A lot of millennials are like that. And they just kind of roll through life. Satan's laughing. He laughs at those people. They go, dude, I took you out of the game. I didn't even have to try. All I had to do is give you a video game addiction, a porn addiction. You're out. You're not even part of society. Be self-reliant. A self-reliant man should be able to fix stuff too. You should be ingenious. Just go, hey man, that busted. How do I fix it? My boys, they're working on it. They're kind of man babies still. Sorry, they are. I try. I've tried so hard, but they're to the point where they just got to do what they're going to do. You know, like Last Suspect, he was like filling the air up in his tire, and he bent the Schrader valve, and it was leaking. He's online trying to figure out how to fix it. I'm like, dude, do you know how to take a Schrader valve out? And he get all pissed off at me, which I won't go into it. I'm like, dude, come here. And I taught him how. Yes, I know. He's in his mid-20s. He should know this, but they don't. They don't know simple things. So like, this is how you take a Schrader valve out. This is how you replace it. Now fill it up again. And I bet you just bent the stem on it. And he had to look on the internet to figure it out. And I'm like, dude, you're Nutnfancy's kid. You should know this. The dynamic we have, though, between Last Suspect and I is like, if I try to bring him out and pull him away from his video game or his artwork, he gets pissed. See, we got problems too. But they're going to learn one way or another. And again, I feel like me as a dude, I thought I was substandard to my dad, who was magical in his ability to fix stuff. And I think I said that in part one. He just look at something. Yeah, I think I can do this. I'll fabricate that out of metal. Then I'll grab that screw over there, run a bolt through it. Oh, wait, that's not working. Yeah, it failed. See, failed. Let me go around this way. And I just sit there and watch him like, holy crap, dude. That's amazing. But I was paying attention. I watched my dad work, and I was amazed. Fix stuff, and if you don't know how to fix stuff, just get some books. Even if you don't have a dad, just get some fix-it, just common fix-it books. Start reading and studying what manly men do to fix and make things. And do projects. Here's what my dad did with me one year. He goes, hey, you want to make a sled? I was like, hell yeah. He's like, cool, you design it. I was like, what? So you design it. I was like, how fast do you want to go? I was like, I don't know, 10 years old. I go, I wanted to go hellaciously fast. He's like, okay, how are we going to do that? See, my daddy's teaching me. It's making me think. I was like, maybe we just put plastic on the bottom. He goes, no. What's really fast on the snow? And I was like, skis? He's like, yeah, skis. So what we did for that sled is we took 2 pairs of skis. We cut them in half. We mounted them on a steerable console. We made the board out of wood. I think I have a picture of this somewhere. If I can find it, I will find it. That's my super fast sled that my dad and I made, of him helping me and showing me and making me think this through. And dude, it was fast. It was fast. So we had rosignals on the bottom. I waxed them, skis in the back. It steered. The one thing about the steering, and he told me, he's like, well, the one thing you got to be aware of is that you won't be able to, at least with the device we had for steering, we won't be able to cant the edges of the skis. As I think about it now, I could have designed a device that does that. But I didn't have it then. It stayed flat, so I couldn't really bite edges. So it steered, okay. Okay, but it was, the prototype, and it was pretty awesome. I took that to the Boy Scout snow camp. It was a huge hit. People were like freaking like, man, that's cool. It's a project my dad did with me. Yeah, you should be self-reliant. You should fix stuff. And self-supportive. I got to move on. We're going to be here forever, which is fun, by the way. Next one, and I mentioned this, you should seek mastery in the things that you pursue. You shouldn't be willing to be mediocre in life. A manly man wants to be better at whatever he wants to be better at. What might be my goals may not be your goals. Okay? Maybe you want to be really good at guitar. And I'll tell you, Last Suspect as an artist, he is amazing. And I'm not exaggerating. He is amazing. My problem is I don't know if he can monetize it. I've told him that, but he should do it on the side for sure. He is amazing, amazing artist. He has sought mastery at that, and he has practiced, and got better. In that, I'll give it to him. He's a manly man. If you suck at something and you want to be good at something, maybe it's going to not come to you naturally. Maybe you're really going to have to dig in and work. Just like that dude I talked about in pilot training with me. Do you really want it? Because if you sit back and you just kind of let it go away, this is your goal, and you just kind of let it filter away from you, and you make all these shit excuses as why you didn't do it, you didn't really want it. Time is not on your side either, boys and girls. Time is not on your side. As young men, soon you will be middle-aged men, and then soon enough you will be old men. And when you're old men, you want to look back and go, you know what? I made some mistakes, but I corrected them. And I ended up doing some things I'm pretty proud of. That's what you should do. Seek mastery. I love that, by the way. Seeking masteries. And I've talked about this in past work videos. I mentioned another video about the work, and I won't go over it here because we've already covered that ground. You can't be good at everything, but you can be excellent at some things. Decide what you want to be excellent at, and then put in the work. You may have some natural gifts, by the way. Find out what those are. You probably know what they are already. Maybe you can sing. Maybe you can write. Maybe you can fight really well. You're like MMA level. Get better at it. Monetize it. If you can. Yeah, mastery is an interesting thing as a man. When you master something, it adds to your own self-worth, your self-confidence, because you got good at something and it was hard to get good at that thing. You had to put in hours. You had to put in work. You had to make goals. You failed. You got up and you did it again. I've gone through this process myself many times. One of them is you're watching right now. Is like when I started my YouTube project, I thought I sucked. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so bad talking on the camera. And I wasn't confident. I mean, I got through it. You probably don't know that, but now it's so easy for me because I've practiced and worked so hard at it. And so it's natural. And also I finally just decided in my YouTube gig, as I don't really give a shit what people think. Once I got that in this thick skull, magical things started to happen. I was like, oh, it is what it is. By the way, you might want to copy me in that. Don't give a shit what people think. I was like, and I'm including the audience. I was like, well, if it's not perfect, I don't say this right, I've screwed up, talking. I don't care. Who gives a shit? They know it's honest. That is what I wanted. I want an honest video product that will stand the test of time, decades after decades after decades. And there's really only one way that I found out to do that, and that is to make it truthful. Because truth never goes away. It always stands the test of time. Doesn't matter who attacks it. It will always be true. Reviews, philosophy videos, truth. Doesn't mean I'm always right. I'm admitting that. With humility, I try though. I try to get my facts straight. I try to get my information straight. I try to get my philosophy straight. I try to be a consistent video creator, and it took work. In every aspect, pre-production, production, post-production. It's like tonight to film this video, I was like, oh, I just don't want to do it. A little voice inside my head said, you got to film this. And I was like, I don't want to. I just want to sit and watch television. I'm being honest with you. This is exactly what happened. It's like, I just want to sit and watch TV. I've been working so hard. Oh, please. And the voice said, please just get up, do it. You'll be so happy you did this. And he was right. Sorry, it's emotional for me because it's the Holy Ghost telling me that. So I got off my ass and I started thinking and praying about this. And that's when these thoughts come to me. By the way, a manly man can be emotional, and I think I've shown that over the years, right? He's not some stoic, emotionalist rock. Quite the opposite. A wholesome, manly man has a lot of emotion. They're controlled. I mean, he's not blithering, crying all the time, but occasionally, if the mood strikes him, he will. Nothing wrong with that at all. Seek mastery, and also when you do it, seek God's help. Did you hear that? Testing, 1 2 1 2. Seek God's help in your search to be masterful at the things you want to be good at. You'll find that he'll help you. And he'll help you if you do your part. He's not going to just put it in your lap and do all the work for you and just turn on these amazing things for you and make you a multimillionaire. He's going to watch you. And then when you on bended knee after you're exhausted from your day's efforts at trying to achieve that goal, guess what's going to happen? Little door of opportunity is going to open because you've proven yourself worthy. Next one. A manly man is disciplined. Wow, that's interesting. I have hit upon this. I said responsible in part 1, and he is responsible. But he's disciplined and reliable. What does that mean? Well, let me put it in really simple good versus evil terms. The evil spirit, and I'm not going to get all like religious on you, but I have to explain this because it really does lie in the battle between good and evil. The evil spirit tells a man that he doesn't have to exert at anything, that he should live for pleasure and nothing more than pleasure, that doing anything that displeases you, that's unpleasurable, is wrong, and that you should be able to do whatever you want and live for your physical senses. Whatever it is, eating, sex, being lazy, that's what the evil spirit will tell us. Now, we know that good things come to those who work. We've known that for a long time. But in order to have those good things come to you, you can't always do what you want to do. That's what I mean by being disciplined. Because the nature of sacrifice is giving up something good for something better. Maybe where you're at right now is good. Maybe the job you have right now is good. But you look over there on the horizon, you go, I want to be over there. I want to go live over there. I want to go be a jet pilot like Nutnfancy. You can do it. You're going to have to pay the price, though, and be disciplined. And it's hard. That means, guess what, boys and girls? Well, probably no girls at this point. They probably hate my guts. Actually, no, they don't. The righteous women are right there with me. They're like cheering me on. I can feel you girls out there are like, yes, because they love a wholesome, manly man. Makes their lives better. He goes out and earns lots of money. He's protective, loving to them. It's a lottery when they find one of you guys. It's a lottery. They won the lottery. You'll both win because of it. But when you're disciplined, guess what? A weird thing happens. You cannot sleep till 11 a.m. You got to get your butt up, maybe 7 in the morning. You got to get yourself out working on that goal that you want to work on. You got to believe in the concept of delayed gratification. Did you get that, millennials and Zenners? Delayed gratification. You can't sit at the video terminal, the video game, 12 hours a day. You're not going to go anywhere. You're pissing your time away. There's nothing that you're going to have that's tangible out of that exercise. Unless you become the 0.0001% professional video gamers that actually make a lot of money. It's hard to do that, though. No, you're going to be disciplined because, well, you got a goal. You're going to give up something good, perhaps. Maybe it's crappy, I don't know. And you're going to go out and get something better. To do that, you got to show up on time. Let's say you're a cement worker, that you own your own company and you're 25 years old. You're a cement worker. By the way, if you do that, you're going to have more work than you can handle. You better have a reliable crew. I hope you can find like 10 guys that can help you. But you'll make good money. You better be disciplined, though. If you say a job's going to be done by a certain date, make sure it happens. Even if you have to dig the holes, lay the concrete, or build the forms, lay the concrete yourself. Make sure it happens because your reputation's on the line. And guess what? More jobs will come rolling in when your reputation is good. You're a cement worker. You're a tradesman. You're making good money. You have 2 trucks, 2 brand new trucks. You're paying on your own house. Life's good. You're working. And you're also disciplined. That means you may show up at a job site 5 in the morning. Maybe on a Saturday. Maybe the weather was bad Monday through Friday, but guess what? The clouds broke, temperature warms up, turns into a 50-degree day Saturday and Sunday. Guess who's working? You are. Because you're disciplined. Hey, but I was going to go snowmobiling with my friends. See, there's that pleasure culture I talked about. You're going to have to put that on the back burner, bro. You ain't going snowmobiling. You got to go lay some concrete. I shit you not. That's what it means to be disciplined. That is a perfect example. 25-year-old running a concrete crew. And by the way, I'm not making this example up at all. His name's Colby. I know him personally. 25 years old, runs his own concrete crew. Amazing. Amazing kid. He's disciplined. He's like, yeah, dude, I don't care. I'll get it done. We're going to get that job done. Awesome. Awesome. Or maybe you just go, I'll get to it Monday. Maybe it'll still be good weather Monday. Because concrete, you got to have a certain temperature. In the winter, I think 40 or below, they don't really like laying in that. 45's perfect, 50's perfect, kind of like that. What if you go snowmobiling? I've worked really hard this week. I deserve to have time off. Just like the attitude I talked about and railed on. Well, bro, I'm just going to tell you. I'm not saying you don't deserve to have time off, but you need to learn how to delay it. Because if you're going to be successful in life, there's going to be a lot of times in life when you cannot have enjoyment. Simply put, from Nutnfancy to the freaking world. You cannot have enjoyment. You have to suck it up. You have to study the books. You have to take the tests. You got to take the check rides. You got to work. And then maybe a month from now, you can have some time off. Do that, you'll be successful. You'll be a manly man. Because you know how to delay gratification. You're not all about, when do I get back to my damn video game? Well, you can go back to your video game anytime you want. You ain't going to have a lot of money in the bank. You ain't going to have a savings. You're probably not going to own your own home. And you probably will never have a family or children. If that's what you want, have at it. Being disciplined means you understand that it takes goals, once again, to get where you want. Delayed gratification, I know I say that a lot, but it's so important. If you're an employee, you show up on time, you tell the truth, you give a good day of work to your employer, you're honest in everything you do and say with your employer, and if you do that, you'll get promoted. Happens, because so many people are not like that. In fact, don't just show up on time, show up 5 minutes early. Work harder than everybody else. You'll get promoted. You don't believe me? Read the comments below this video. You'll believe me then. And part 1. And all my other work-related videos. I have thousands of comments that will support everything I'm saying. This ain't made up shit. It's truth. Sorry for my bad French, by the way. Oh my gosh, I'm having a good time. I hope you are too. All right, moving on. And a manly man, part 2. Oh my gosh, how long have we talked? Yeah, whatever. We're doing pretty good, actually. I thought it was longer than that. A manly man also is honorable. Honorable. Wow, that's an interesting word. I think most of you understand what it means to be honorable. But let's drive the point home, shall we? Remember at the outset of this video, I said we're not talking about just being a manly man, like a professional wrestler. That's not what this video series is about. It's about being a true man, a wholesome man. And I hope that message is coming through loud and clear. You're wholesome. You're a good man. You're a Christ-based man. You're willing to fight the good fight. And you're willing to stick up for those who need sticking up for. And you're honorable. Now, to me, we look up the definition of honorable. It's like deserving of honor. Okay. Here's what it means to me. And this is with a lot of life lived behind me, hopefully more in front of me. It means that you really You don't live for yourself, really. You live for others. I mean, when you're going for that career, Colby being a cement worker, I mean, really, isn't he trying to provide for his family, his children? I mean, sure, maybe he gets a truck out of it. Good for him. He earned it. But he really is just trying to provide for his family. And that's, by the way, it's going to be our next point. I'll get to that. You really don't live for yourself, being honorable. I want to give you an example. And I may have mentioned these dudes before. There's a lot. I'm going to mention some others, and we're going to spend some time here on what it means to be honorable as a manly man, because I think it's a message that needs to be sent. And we're actually far away from all that progressive politic crap. We're actually into something very meaningful and godlike, and that is to be honorable. That a man is willing to basically sacrifice himself for others. And maybe it comes in these examples I'm going to show you where they actually did give up their lives. But I'm going to circle back and say it really has a lot to do with how you live your daily life. Doesn't mean you have to do anything huge, but an honorable man, you can tell that he's honorable. First, these examples. I'm sure you've heard of these guys. In the movie Black Hawk Down, Master Sergeant Gary Gordon, Sergeant Randy Shugart, Delta Team Snipers. They had a Black Hawk go down. You saw the movie, I'm sure. And what did these two guys do? I want to read just an excerpt here so we can make sure we're on the same sheet of music here. Gordon was posted to Mogadishu, Somalia with other Delta members in the summer of 1993 as part of Task Force Ranger. In October 3rd, 1993, Gordon was sniper team leader during Operation Gothic Serpent, a joint assault mission to apprehend key advisors, Somali warlord, blah, blah, blah. Super 6-1, one of the Black Hawk helicopters, providing insertion and air support to the assault team, was shot down and crashed in the city. A combat search and rescue team was dispatched to the first crash site to secure it, and a short time later, a second Black Hawk, Super 6-4, just like you saw in the movie, was shot down as well. Ranger forces on the ground were not able to assist the downed helicopter crew on the second crash site as they were already engaged in heavy combat with Aidid's militia making their way to the first crash site. Gordon and his Delta Force sniper teammates, Sergeant First Class Randy Shugart and Sergeant First Class Brad Halling, who were providing sniper cover from the air, wanted to be dropped at the second crash site in order to protect the 4 wounded crew. Despite the fact that large number of armed hostile Somalis were converging on the area. Mission commanders denied Gordon's request, saying that the situation was too dangerous for the 3 Delta Team snipers to protect the Black Hawk crew from the ground. Command's position was that the snipers could be much more of assistance by continuing air cover. Gordon, however, concluded there was no way the Black Hawk crew could survive on their own and repeated his request twice to command and control until he finally received permission. You know the rest of the story. Master Sergeant Gary Gordon and Sergeant First Class Randy Shugart died defending that crew.
That's honorable.
That's honorable. You don't think they knew the risks? Of course they did. But guess what? You have 2 military members, and when they put on the uniform, they kind of mean it. They kind of mean that, hey, I am here, if necessary, to give my life for my fellow soldier, and they both did that. In other words, gentlemen, they didn't live for themselves. Did you hear maybe, Sergeant Shugart say, hey, you know what? This sucks. When are we going to go back to the dorm so we can start playing our video games? This sucks. I mean, that Ranger team will get to them. We're good up here in the helo. Let's not go down there. I hope that's not what a lot of people would say, but I'm sure there are some that would say that. They would rationalize, hey, we're just going to die down there. We're not going to make any difference. Those 2 didn't say that. Granted, this is an extreme example. They gave their lives. They knew they were going to give their lives. But they kind of meant it when they took their oath. Nothing but respect from Lieutenant Colonel Nutnfancy. Nothing but respect. Oh my gosh. Here's some other Medal of Honor winners. How about Robert James Miller, fatally shot while diverting gunfire from Taliban forces in Afghanistan so that his fellow soldiers could escape. Jared C. Monty? It got cut off, I think, in printing. Killed while trying to rescue a wounded soldier from intense small arms and rocket-propelled grenade fire. 2006. Michael Murphy led a 4-man reconnaissance team in a fight against superior numbers, exposed himself to hostile fire in order to call for help. Leroy Petrie. While shot through both legs, he saved his fellow Rangers by picking up and throwing a live enemy grenade, thus amputating his hand. Ryan Pitts, U.S. Army, 2nd Battalion, for his courageous actions while serving as a forward observer during the Battle of Wannet. Earl D. Plumley, for repeatedly engaging the enemy at close range while wounded by a detonating suicide vest, risked his life to bring another soldier to safety and provide first aid, all while continually putting himself in the line of fire in order to prevent the assault from penetrating the perimeter of the FOB. Clint Ramesha, U.S. Army, 2009, 3rd Squadron, 61st Cavalry Regiment, for risking his life to save fellow soldiers and organize and repel an attack against Taliban forces during the Battle of Kamdesh. Ronald J. Schurer, for his courageous actions while serving as a combat medic during the Battle of Shock Valley. And I could go on for another hour. That, gentleman, is honor. I tear up when I read this. I don't apologize for it. It's because I'm seeing selfless, Christ-like service in these guys. They knew the odds. They knew exactly what was facing them. They knew they could, and in several of those cases, did die doing what they did. That's honorable. Now, I said before I read about the MOH stories, which I think does clearly illustrate some examples of honor, that we don't have to daily throw ourselves on a grenade. Okay, the opportunity for you to do that is going to be hopefully like never. But as we go through our lives, we can still be honorable in that we look outwardly as manly men, and that we look for people who might need help that can't help themselves. We're sheepdogs. An initial and still valid concept in the Nutnfancy project is that we fight battles for those that can't fight for themselves. We're like Christ when Christ isn't around. That's how I want you to think of it. Just like those 2 Delta sheepdogs, those Delta sniper sheepdogs. Yeah, so to be honorable means that we're not always about ourselves. That we're willing to make sacrifices, even on our own shoulders, when it's inconvenient, maybe unpopular to do so. That, gentlemen, is being a manly man. That's what that's about. Just ask Shugart and Gordon about that. Man, good. Last point. I talked about it being honorable, i.e. not living just for yourself or your own pleasure cycle. You're able to delay gratification. Part of that, being a manly man and living those principles, gentlemen, is having a family. That's right, having a family. Something, by the way, the progressive left, that's right, the progressive left, really doesn't advocate in the same way we do. Because, and granted, there's all types of different families. And I'm not just talking about like mom, dad, 3 kids. I mean, is that great? Awesome, yes. But sometimes maybe, I don't know, dad died. Maybe mom died. Maybe dad left. Maybe mom left. Maybe mom cheated on dad. She ran off, got married to another guy. Now it's dad raising the 3 kids, and now he's remarried. All types of different families. But we should always strive for that ideal of having a loving family that supports its members. Guess who's at the head of that family? It ain't the mom.
It's the dad. He's in charge.
Now, his second in command is the wife. He listens to his wife. He counsels with his wife. She is his first and most important advisor. He consults with her all the time, but he's the general of the family. Says me. Says me. Says God. God says the same thing. Read your Bible if you don't believe me. Read your Bible. If you don't like it, take it up with God. The man's in charge of the family. He's righteous. He's benevolent. Okay, maybe not benevolent. Going a little too far there. You get the picture. He's a good dude. Does he make mistakes? Sure he does. Does he lose his temper? Yeah. Is he perfect? No. He's just doing the best he can. That's all. But while he does the best he can, he has 3 kids. He stays married to the woman he loves. And through it all, through all the heartache, through all the living they do together for the next 40 years, something magical happens. He raises 3 awesome members of society who have his same moral compass, who are also honorable because they watched their dad and their mother, how they lived. And you know what? A great society, a peaceful society, a free society results from that. A manly man seeks to have that. A manly man seeks to have a family. He seeks to have a good, and in his eyes, beautiful wife. And with that wife, he's going to make babies. And that is God's plan. I don't care what the left says. I don't care what popular culture says. I don't care what the CPF, Communist Party feeds, the media say. That is God's plan. And that is your ticket to happiness, to life fulfillment. Being a dad is huge. It will teach you so many of these things that I've been talking about. You'll understand them to a large degree. And then when you have kids, you're going to really understand them. You're going to say, that Nutnfancy guy filming from Wyoming, deep in his bunker with all the freaking guns on the wall, he kind of knew what he was talking about. And that stuff was true. What an odd source of information he was. But he nailed it on the head with that video series. Be a dad. If you don't want to be a dad, that's your choice. Okay, I get it. Maybe you come from a dysfunctional family. You have bad examples. Again, you can cauterize that. You can put it behind you, and you can still be a dad, and a good one. Joy awaits you. The happiest moments I've ever had in my life are when I held my baby boys. Oh my gosh. Gosh, when my babies were in my arms, oh, I just loved it. That was manly. Rocking my babies. I love my babies. I hope you have that experience. I really do. I hope you can find a woman that you love who is good to you, who has a kind heart, a sweet spirit, who loves your soul, who will stick with you through thick and thin, and I hope you stick with her through thick and thin, through all her personality flaws and through all your personality flaws. You guys are 2 against the world, and that's what it is. It's you and her against the world, and you stick together through thick and thin. Make it work. Never get divorced. Another message of modern society. It doesn't work. Disposable marriage. Screw that. I've been married 34 years with my starter wife. Still love her. We're still 2 against the world. A manly man seeks to have that. Not just sit at the video game console 12 hours a day. That's really not life fulfilling. Maybe you think it is, and that's your choice. But I'm thinking if you got this deep in the video, I think you kind of agree with me. And you seek to have it. I want you to, if you do want a family, gentlemen, maybe you're young, you're in your 20s, and you just can't find the right girl, I want you to pray about it. I want you to ask God the Father with all humility, with all intent of heart, and I want you to do your very best at finding her. Say, please lead me to that girl of my dreams, who I can make a life with, who I can grow old with, who I can make babies with, and have all those fun outings with, and do the kind of stuff that Nutnfancy talked about for all those years. I want you to pray about it. And I bet you find her. I bet you find her. Might be from a surprising location you never thought of. Remember I said that. It's going to come to your mind. It's like, boom, holy crap, I never would have thought to look there. There she was the whole time. She might be doing the same thing. She might be praying too. Show me a normal guy. Show me a guy that's not a man baby, that can support me and my children that I want to have. Show me a guy who's, well, let's go through these points again. Nice wrap up, Nutton. Who's protective of my family, who's honorable, who knows how to work, to be reliable, who's dependable, who's self-reliant, who's courageous, who's rational, who's disciplined, who's attracted to me because I'm beautiful. She's out there. You just haven't looked hard enough. There's still a lot of great guys, a lot of great girls out there. There's just so much noise in our society. So much smoke. And I'm talking about the dating apps too. A lot of those are just pure garbage. And to try to find each other is so difficult. The reason is because Satan doesn't really want you to find each other. He doesn't really want to have happy, strong, moral, God-based families in this society. The way he's going to tear down society, and he's made great inroads in doing that, is attacking the family. Have I made that clear enough? By attacking men. By disillusioning men, taking away their self-confidence, their will to live, their freaking testosterone levels. Through all the bullshit media, the television shows, you name it, commercials, movies that portray men as morons, weaklings, not knowing where to go, having to be defended by women, upside down or right. That's what it is. And we're at the end. We're at the end. I'll tell you what, I'm going to end with a prayer again. This is popular in the Nutnfancy Project. If you don't believe in God, please just bear with me. I ask you to humbly reconsider that. God the Father does live, so does his Son, Jesus Christ. I give you testimony of that. And I believe in them. I always will. And I'll always maintain my faith in God the Father and his Son, Jesus Christ. And I will pray on your behalf as we end this video. Heavenly Father, we come together as an audience, as an imperfect video creator myself, as we've discussed these things about how to be a true, wholesome, righteous man. I thank thee, Father, for giving me these words to share with my friends here. I pray it will touch their souls, that will resonate true within their hearts, that they can overcome their many difficulties which they are faced with in their lives. Health challenges, family challenges, work challenges, school challenges, job challenges. I pray that will strengthen them in them. Pray that they'll get down on bended knee and ask for thy help and give them direction on what they should say and do in the direction they should proceed. Pray that I'll give them confidence as real men, strength as real men, that they can integrate these attributes, these ideals of being a man in their hearts, and they can look 10 years from this date and say that they've achieved it, and they have achieved a level of happiness and well-being and self-confidence with themselves and their families, maybe their future families. Pray thou will protect them, that no harm or accident will befall them. They will go through their lives, whether they are in dangerous occupations, in the military, in law enforcement circles, in whatever they do as tradesmen, that they will be protected of thee as well, my friends, in this endeavor I call TNP. We acknowledge thy hand in all our blessings, Father. We know that of thee we receive these good things, and we are thankful to thee for them. I ask for these blessings humbly and on behalf of my brethren here, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next video.